I never planned to listen to the tapes. They were found sealed inside a plastic storage box buried beneath the crawl space of a house in Ashland, Ohio, the house I bought last winter after my divorce. The realtor said the previous owner had died suddenly. No family, no records. The house had been empty for years. That should have been my first warning. The box wasn't labeled. Inside were 14 cassette tapes, all numbered by hand. No names, no dates, just numbers. I didn't even own a cassette player, but curiosity is dangerous when you're alone in an old house with too much silence. I ordered one online. It arrived 2 days later. That night, I listened to the first tape. The voice was male, calm, American, mid-30s maybe. He said, "If you're hearing this," then I didn't make it out. He introduced himself as Daniel Crow and explained he was recording instead of writing because writing wasn't as safe anymore. "Things change when you write them down," he said. "They notice." I laughed nervously, telling myself it was just a creepy story left behind by a paranoid man. Then he described the house. The narrow hallway, the staircase that creaked on the third step, the basement door that never stayed closed. Details he couldn't have guessed. I paused the tape and stared down my hallway. Nothing was there. I pressed play again. By the third tape, Daniel sounded exhausted. He talked about waking up every night at exactly 3:12 a.m., not around that time, but exactly. He said the air felt heavier then, like the house was holding its breath. "If I stay completely still," he said, "I can hear it move." I felt my stomach tighten, but I kept listening. On the fourth tape, he mentioned the dark corner at the end of the hallway. No matter how many lights he turned on, it stayed darker than it should. I felt a chill run through me because my hallway had the same corner. I'd noticed it before but never questioned it. By the sixth tape, Daniel stopped pretending this was stress or imagination. He said it didn't like being watched but hated being ignored even more. He talked about rules he had learned the hard way. Never look directly into the dark corner after 3:12 a.m. Never answer if you hear your name called, even if it sounds right. And if you see someone standing where they shouldn't be, act like you don't. That night, I didn't sleep. At 3:11 a.m., I checked my phone. At 3:12, the house creaked, not settling noises, but footsteps. Slow, deliberate footsteps from the hallway. I remembered the rules and lay completely still. The footsteps stopped outside my bedroom door. Then I heard breathing, close enough that I could feel it on my skin. My name was whispered softly from the other side of the door. I didn't answer. After a long time, the sound faded away. The next morning, I listened to the seventh tape. Daniel was crying. He said it could sound like anyone, his mother, his brother, even himself. Mirrors had become dangerous because sometimes his reflection lagged behind, and sometimes it smiled when he didn't. I covered my bathroom mirror with a towel without thinking. By the ninth tape, Daniel explained why he was recording everything. "It doesn't touch you right away," he said. "It replaces you first." He talked about missing time, waking up in rooms he didn't remember going to, finding doors unlocked that he was sure he had locked. "I think it practices," he said, "like trying on a costume." I paused the tape and checked my front door. It was unlocked. On the 11th tape, Daniel's voice barely sounded human. He said it stood closer every night and that he could feel its weight in the air. The dark corner, he said, was growing. If it reached the bedroom, it meant time was running out. That night, I noticed the corner in my hallway had shifted just slightly, but enough that I knew it was closer. The 12th tape was recorded in a rush. Daniel whispered that it was copying his voice now and that he could hear himself calling from other rooms. There was a pause and then another voice came through the tape similar to his but wrong. It said, "Daniel, you forgot a rule." The recording cut off. I sat in silence for a long time, then looked down the hallway. The dark corner was at my bedroom door. I skipped ahead to the last tape. Daniel sounded calm again, unnaturally calm. He said this tape was for whoever came next. You couldn't beat it by fighting or running, he said. The only way out was to leave something behind, something it could finish. I'm going to let it think it won, he said. The tape ended without another sound. That night at 3:12 a.m., I felt it standing over me. I didn't open my eyes, I didn't move. I remembered Daniel's words and slowly got out of bed, walking into the hallway. The dark corner swallowed me as I stepped into it. The air was freezing and heavy, and I felt wrong hands press against my shoulders. Then everything went silent. I woke up on my bedroom floor. The hallway looked normal. The dark corner was gone. The house felt empty, not peaceful, just hollow. I packed my things and left before sunrise, never looking back. 6 months later, out of curiosity, I checked property listings online. The house was back on the market, new owner. No mention of the past, no warnings, no tapes,